All right, hey folks, we're gonna do some artwork this morning. So give me a moment here to check in on my signal. We're doing Dungeons and Dragons artwork for an adventure in the Eberron campaign setting called Crystals of Mabar. You can see the book cover here on screen. Let me check my volume. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Okay, let's drop that down. Get that out of the way. I'm gonna grab this link here. I'm gonna do some really fast social media posts, and then we'll get started. So I'll show you the illustration that we finished from over the weekend. We were working on Eureka the Escaped Prisoner on Friday, and we still had the guards to resolve. So I finished that over the weekend, and these are items. Hold on real quick. Let me finish this up here real fast. Clunk, clunk. And there we go. Okay, that's finished, and that's finished, and okay, great. So let's fix our windows here real fast, and drop down here, and book cover. We created this back around episode 40. We're currently at episode like 575 or something like that. This is the 16 by 9 format that we're using for the adventure. So it's a PDF digital product. So we don't need to conform with normal page sizes. So if you were to make this full screen, you would see that it fits on your device like such. And each column vertically also conforms to the 16 by 9 ratio vertically. So we're going to be working on, like this is, grappling glaive is completed. And so we're going to be doing magical cooking implements, a wind vein of fresh air, an image crystal, a gate seal runestone, and a bonfire log. So we're going to illustrate all of these and finish out this page. I'll show you the illustration that we finished yesterday. That would be here. Once this pops open, there we go. So this was the, hey, how you doing? Beans, good to see you. This was the graveyard illustration that we were working on for the past 2 weeks, and so we have that finished now. I'm really happy with how these Emerald Claw Zealots turned out. I like how the pose for Enrica turned out. I like the environment. This is the proper level of oppressive fog. You can barely see off in the distance here that there's tombstones and stuff back there. This is the level of murk that is accurate for this environment. So this turned out really well. I'm really, really pleased with it. Let's get that out of the way. Here are the items that we are going to be illustrating today. Along with these, we have these oddities of Mabar. Here's crystals growing on the ground that we have a lot of illustration for in our maps. Here's ferric vines that grow from just stray bones that aren't connected to anything. These are emerald cap mushrooms that can be brewed down into a night vision tea. This is the Lotharia vulpina that releases poisonous gas. This is the plague moss that everything basically grows from. And these are florets that also grow in the mix, in the fog of the manifest zone, and these spores spread and they create the moss. So these florets grow from the crystals. They catch the wind, land, create this moss. From the moss, the Lotharia vulpina can grow, or emerald caps can grow, or anywhere that these crystals set into the ground. If there's any stray bones in the graveyard region of this, they would then sprout up into ferric vines that are like steel-like vines that cause damage when you traverse the area that they're inside of. And hey, yeah, thank you. Yeah, that turned out really, really well. I am thoroughly happy with the results of that graveyard map. We've got a couple more illustrations that we need to do. Here is the artifact, the Eye of Mabar, the ritual that you perform with it, the timeline for the ritual, and the mishaps that can occur with the ritual. This is the chrysalis that forms around the whoever is performing the ritual. Here is the eye itself within. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and the eye is on the artifact, the Eye of Mabar, that can generate the manifest zone. That's also massive in the background here, but you don't really recognize it until you get into the piece to know what it is that we're looking at. But it's lurking in the background too. Yeah, let's I guess we sally forth. So I'll go ahead and set this down. And hold on. Yeah, destroying the eye. All the artifact stuff that you get with an artifact. The ritual. Yeah, there you go. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see. Okay, so we're working on, these are the illustrations that we're working on currently. I think let's just go with basic stuff. I'm going to it's going to be mundane, but let's go with cooking implements. Let's see what kind of an illustration we get. We're going to do some color sampling off of this. This is why I want to do that. Oh, I bet this will work out okay, but let's see if there's a color scheme that I like for any pots and pans that we run across. This looks pretty good. Let's go with this. So we're going to peel this open, and we're going to go down to implements. We're going to call this a reference. I'm going to scoot this to the side a bit. So, let's see. Magical cooking implements. Wondrous items. Common. When you speak the command words, time to cook. These magical utensils animate as though utilized by an unseen servant and provide their own heat and water to cook any recipe you know without requiring your participation if the ingredients are provided, and you remain within sight of the implements. When you speak the command word, time to clean, the utensils receive the cleaning effects of a prestidigitation cantrip. So really basic stuff. But they have cooking implements that are active inside of the barracks for good cooking, and so yeah, we're using that. These are all, looks like, separated into different layers here. So let's go ahead and I don't think we need to have the fire here, but we wanted it illustrated. Yeah, let's start real simple. We're going to just make separate layers for everything here, and then excuse the throat. There. And now let's grab this base color here. And we're just basically blocking in the flats, quote unquote, flat color underneath the line art. Boy, my throat is just froggy this morning. There we go. I don't know if I'm going to spend more than one session on this. These aren't very exciting items, but this is a fun process to do, just to do some basic mundane stuff. We have the gatekeepers are lined up next for the following the next the last plot hook that we need to illustrate is gatekeeper druids, and I have the sketches lined up for those already. So I was just doing a palette cleanser because we just spent 2 weeks working on the Church of the Silver Flame plot hook. So I wanted to take a quick little break, just to, like I said, doing a palette cleanser and just doing some basic basic equipment. Let's go with this. For our spatula. So we have the spatula in a separate layer than we have from the pot and pan. Oh, I finished updating the 2024 version of the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document that we've been working on Mondays and Thursday nights for the past 3 weeks. I got it updated, and it's now fresh on the DMsGuild link down below. I just uploaded it last night. Yeah, I'm thrilled with that. So our Mondays and Thursday nights, we do game design work for the books that we end up illustrating. And I think I'm just gonna stay on this spatula for a little bit here. This pot's a little rough. We'll have to straighten that out a little bit. Nope, not like that. There we go. So that's done. We can. I think tonight we're going to revisit the Spelljammer subclasses that we've been building, and start moving towards prepping that. Maybe that's what we'll do. I could also start getting ready to update the 2024 color magic system. That book's going to need a full rebuild because there's a number of structural or mechanical changes to the color mana system over the past 7 years that need to be addressed, and the color mana spell point variant rules was the first book that I basically the first book that I built, and I think my skills in production have improved since then, so I think I can, like, quote unquote glam up that book and rebuild it. There's a couple different things I want to implement, like official rules for researching colors, and color as alignment, and we also have, like, Strixhaven and Theros have been incorporated into D&D, so I want to speak to those in the book directly, since those are just part of the MTG RPG zeitgeist now. I think they deserve to be included in the core mechanics book. Maybe they don't. No, I think, no, actually, yeah, including them would be a good idea, because it can provide examples about, what's the word I'm looking for backgrounds, like building characters, like back with alignments, like backgrounds, feats, stuff like that. I don't think I need to do anything specifically with races in the core mechanics book, because it's about class features and spellcasting primarily. Hey, what's up? By the way, how do you include monster stat blocks? Do you like use mana stack blocks? Following changes increase AC by 1, reduce the speed by 10. Also includes boundary. Oh, hold on real quick. I'll go show you. Other than NPCs, I have I've provided all the stats for the creatures that I anticipate the characters running around with. So let's go find that. Is it page 89 to 91? I think. No, it's not. But ironically, I actually needed this illustration. So while we're here, I'm just gonna grab this here real quick. Hold on. Copy that, because we're going to need this for the image crystal. I wanted the color reference for that image crystal, for this teleportation stone. I wanted that for reference for this image crystal. So that actually worked out really well, but it's not actually what we're looking for. Where are we at? We're at page 89. So we need, we're at 86. So I need what's before 86. Open, no. Open, yeah. We're on a mission. Here it is, page 69 to 85. We still have some information, like some diagrams and stuff to provide for the mob mechanics. But otherwise, God, this frogginess in my throat is just absolutely infuriating. But yeah, here. No, those are more mob mechanics, and then we have examples of of mob damage stats with the saving throw for their hazard. More stat blocks for the hazard, and here we go. Okay, so monsters. This is the stat block. This is the actual stat block for Assassin Vine. We picked it up. It fits in this. Ironically, almost everything that we need to do fits really conveniently into 1 or 2 column formats. So the bar guest requires more information in a single column, so we just made it 2 columns and put the bar guest in the second column space that's left over. The Assassin Vine can fit in 1, and again, this is just text being taken from the monster manual, but it's minimal pages. We got the black pudding in here, which requires more space than 1 column would absorb, so we put the illustration here. We got our bloated zombie, which is one of the undead that we have in this adventure. Blood Golem. We don't have. We need to add an illustration here for that one still. Here's the Caneloth that we have down here. And let's see. I need to do a gelatinous cube illustration. Here's our drowned assassin. Again, this is just the stat blocks from the monster manual, but when I'm using a 12-point font in the 8.5... excuse me here for a second. Re-engage. Perfect. But yeah, I just pulled stats from what we needed. I just put it down here. So when we mention like the team faces 5 drowned assassins, then I can put a hyperlink that takes you to the drowned assassins page here for reference if you need it. This one was fun to illustrate. Oh. Kind of got some Davy Jones stuff feeling there. But yeah, we did this for all these illustrations here. Here's the imp. Ghoul. I have a ghast illustration. We just need to drop it in. I'm still dropping illustrations in here. Like, ghasts are super simple. They don't require a large stat block. They easily fit inside this column. This is really a miracle that I was able to make these things fit so concisely. Living Mass Grave. Otiug. Plague Hound infected by the necrotic effects of the Manifest Zone. A Plague Oak, a tree transformed into evil by the Manifest Zone. Here's a Shadow Mastiff, and a Roper, a Revenant, Shambling Mound. I need to add an illustration here for Spectre, but I have one. The Spectral Knight. Yeah, so they all just fit. Like, this is the actual. These are the stats from the monster manual. It fits. This is the formatting that we used here. Medium undead. Like, we'll go to the Shambling Mound. Large plant unlined. CR5. AC initiative. Hit points. Speed. Swim. Stat block. Skills. Resistances. Immunities. It's all here. Very concise. It's a Reflect Tug Teleport feature here. There you go. Just for reference, since you asked. That's coming along really nicely. I still have. I'll probably end up. I might end up doing. I need to. I know I'm missing a few illustrations. The gelatinous cube. I'm not happy with the bloated. I want to change that. I want to change the lawn dead. So there's a few illustrations I want to switch around that I may or may not spend time here on stream addressing. We'll see when we get there. So let me get back to these implements. Scoot that over a snitch. After this page, I think we have maybe 8 illustrations after this, I think. We're getting close. 2 of them are the Gatekeeper Druid section that we already have the sketches for. There's a few incidental locations, like I want to have a picture of the trapped, the magical safe that's in the officers' quarters. I want to do an illustration of that with the treasure that's inside for the teams to crack open and steal. You know, if they want. So there's a few touches left, but I'm getting really close to done with all the actual illustrations. I'm going to be adding in like ferric vines and Vulpina Lotharia to some of the environmental maps, just as built-in hazards to demonstrate where they can be at. And then from there, I think potentially next week I'm going to start hyperlinking all the stuff inside the book, creating the bookmarks and making it so it can be on-click navigatable. Let's switch to let's switch to our guitar pick, and that's pretty far down the pipe. That means that the text is all good to go, and the layouts are good, and the illustrations are falling into place. Then we in the process, I don't do this on stream here because it's boring as fuck, but I do all the hyperlinkings of all the different things that you're going to want to bounce to inside of the adventure. You're going to want to navigate to get information about or just move around. Maybe I'll no. The document is large and unwieldy to in the Word program to really spend any serious time on stream working inside of, because it's bulky. And well, rather once the illustrations get inserted, it will become very bulky. So I can potentially show you how I string up a hyperlink map. I'll probably do one of those just to generate the hyperlink, so you guys can see how it bounces around, how you can do the on-click effect to navigate inside the PDF. That probably has some value for you guys to look at. But most of that stuff I don't do on stream because it's not very entertaining to watch me do editing. Editing's boring as shit. So I'll probably spend the rest of the day just mucking with these magical items, just to get these straightened out, and like I said, to do a little bit of a palette cleanse from the other illustrations that we've been working on. Tomorrow I plan to dive into the gatekeepers. That'll be the last plot hook that we need to finish for the alternate plot hooks in the adventure, and then we've just got some incidental interior artwork pieces to do in different sections, like some more environmental pieces, and I'm not sure all what's going to pop up, but we got a few more things to do. I'm going to merge this down. Yeah, fuck it. I think I'm going to let's take that. Let's duplicate this. Let's duplicate this layer. Let's merge that down. Now it's just a single layer. Now I can blend these nice and proper. There. There's a couple different things that I could be doing tonight. Mondays and Thursday nights are my dedicated design streams. Like I actually build books, create ideas, do the coding for different rules, do updates. And let's grab that and bring that in here like that. Kind of thinking about revisiting the Bastion campaigns tonight. Let's just blend that in. There. And there. I like that. I like how that feels. That looks cool. Okay, and so we'll leave that be for now. Wait for it. Hold on. I grabbed something I wasn't supposed to. There. Yeah, that feels cool. There, and now down here, got this. Here, let's grab our highlight and our shadow. And we'll build out the shadow underneath here, obviously, the underbelly. Just some simple items that I don't have to kill myself over these things. Like this is probably going to be the best place for that. There. Nothing too, this is very simple. Just some very basic mundane items. Nothing too complicated about it. Just got to blend it a little bit so that the gradient seems natural. And yeah, it feels pretty good. Blend in here. Hey, what's up? What is the strangest monster you have ever published? I don't do a lot of monsters. I've never published any monsters. I've made a face spider lair as an encounter, but I haven't actually published any unique monsters before. I make monsters all the time, sure, but published none. This will be the first time I've actually published an adventure, published any monsters to go along with it. I've already published some magic items in the color mana system in the past. But yeah, monsters, that's, me finding that stat block, my first time out, I feel blessed. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit better here. Let's turn it over so we can brush that in. Yeah, making an adventure is a pretty significant bucket list item for me. It's like, you know, you can, like, creating mechanics for characters and creating subsystems for DMs that makes the game run, but actually making an adventure that can utilize the system. That's a big bucket list item of mine. Let it be Blink Mammoths. You're really into Blink Mammoths today. That's awesome. I mean, yeah, you can have an entire ecology of creatures built around Blink. Blink Dogs versus Shadow Mastiffs. What a fun fight. I can hear myself a little bit. Let me see if I can adjust my volume. There we go. That should go well. Let's see. That'll do. implement. Smooth that out. Yeah, that feels good. And let's add our spatula back in. It's, you know, it's something about that spatula is just not feeling right. Let's work on it a little bit more. Do like that. I think I want to have a conforming, just basic plane here to help indicate. It seemed like it was kind of curving. That was here. Get rid of this. See, it feels like it's kind of curving because it's highlighting here and shadow here. That was inappropriate. So maybe it was fun, but it's not good depiction. So I want to flatten out the color here to match roughly what's up here. So it has that common plane. Just keep locking it in. That'll be good. There, free transform. Let's select inverse and then delete. Nope, not like that. Delete. There we go. Merge down. Work that edge. Work that edge. Work that edge. There we go. Let's straighten that out. There we go. And then take an eraser here, down to there. Straighten that out. There. And then curve this down. There. Better. And let's take a little, just put that on a separate layer. I need a little rivet. Rivet. There. Gotta hold it together. Very good. I can fold that one up. No, I can't. I can fold that up. And now let's go back to our frying pan. Sorry. One more thing. We've got to bring this down a little bit more. There. There. That's good. That feels really, really good. I'm happy with that. We got a rivet to work on. Rivet. This could probably be thinner. Well, we'll trim that down once we actually merge everything. I think I need to leave that line art in place. Would you rather side quest for shaved dwarf that hates to drink, or a halfling with gigantism that wants to be taller? Pink dragons, right on. You know what? I think if without knowing any more information, I'd say the halfling. That sounds more entertaining to me. That's set. There we go. Rivets. Let's go ahead and keep tapping that forward. Thank you. I'm gonna hit save now. Something weird. I feel like something weird is afoot. That. There. There, that feels pretty good. I'll definitely want to thin down that handle a little bit. But I think, let's be bold. Let's go ahead and just merge these things together and see how that works out. Duplicate the group. Merge that down. We can do some cleanup around here. Go from here down to here. Like that. Thin it down a little bit. There. What's up? Nothing. Down like that. There we go. But this just came from an animated YouTube shorts. I was full with reversal stare. Oh, right on. Cool. Items like this that have hard edges. I am a much more of a Bob Ross nature type illustrator. Hard edge, hard line, like structural stuff is admittedly a challenge for me. I'm always struggling to make the stuff that I do look solid, you know. Just do like that. I'll brush that in here. Almost done with this. Straighten that out. There we go. There we go. There we go. That feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. I like that. That looks good. Let's zoom back up into here, and let's get that spatula out of the way. I'm just going to blend this line art in here to the color of the structure. Sorry, I apparently I'm focusing a little bit more than usual. I'm not just riffing shit. There. Bring this in. Have you watched Legends of Avantris D&D shorts? You can tell those people have... no, I have not. If you want to post a link in my Discord, you are welcome to do so. For anyone else that wants to kick into the Discord, you can link down below. Yeah, I've never heard of Legend of Avantris. Blend that in. I don't know why I'm having to focus so much. Normally I can just riff off of shit and just talk about things, but I guess I guess the muse doesn't want me to isn't having me talk about stuff today. So we're just doing some. I guess it's because, you know, cooking implements aren't very exciting. I appreciate you trying to stimulate some conversation out of me, Pians. It's really kind of you. As creators, sometimes we need a nudge. I like how this line art is coming in down here. There. Let's grab a brush tool here and see if I can get that line in here like that. Perfect. That looks good. I'm happy with it. Let's straighten this up down here. Curve that in here like that. Good. Here. And here. Tex, what's up? Hey, Fox, it's good to see you, my guy. I'm gonna be cooking omelets later on today myself. Actually, skillets are on the mind. Yeah, just some magical cooking implements that are that basically cook the meals for you with a command word. It's there's a set of these in the barracks, and they clean themselves as well with a prestidigitation, so you don't like need like running water in a sink. You can just go. I mean, as long as you have food items and these implements with you, you can have a meal cooked without a fire. You don't need running water. You don't need a fire source that takes care of those things for you. All you got to do is just basically dump the ingredients into them and speak the command word, time to cook, and it'll cook whatever recipe you're thinking of. But I'm having technical issues here, like technical illustrations, like not technical illustrations. It's hardline metal, which is a bit of a challenge to my organically centric style. I think it's looking okay though. I kind of straighten out that edge. I am not a hardline illustrator, so doing things like this is always a little bit of a challenge for me. That feels pretty good though. So we'll go there. We got our spatula. There we go. Cooking implements. Oh, let's go up here and take care of those wraps. Like that. There. Good enough. Go ahead and fold that up. Implements are good. And what's the next thing we want to go to? No, implements aren't good. That particular implement is good. Uh-oh. Ref, that's good. There we go. Okay, cool. So let's go to the, that's going to be skillet. And here we go. Pot. P-O-T. And let's, yeah, we can use the same base here. That's a much rougher line. I think I need to spend a little bit of time cleaning up that line work. So I'm going to drop this down here. Let's go back to base black. Yeah, no kidding, right? That feels like a good line. That's a good line. That curve is good till about there. Nice. That was a little jagged. Let's see if I can curve that out a little bit better. That feels pretty good. Let's grab this. Copy paste for transform. Flip horizontal. Get that lined up like that. Get rid of the lines like this. Merge those down. There we go. Jump across. There, that looks good. And now we'll add in the handles. let's get that curve figured out. I don't know if the Mariners won yesterday or not. There, we'll just do it like that. There, that makes sense. Let's erase this. Yeah, it's a little chunky, but I think I'm okay with it. Actually, I'm not. Yeah, that feels good. Cool. Now we can conceal that. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. And now we'll go to color. Color should be pretty basic. I'm going to grab the same colors we have here. We'll grab that one there like that. Let's block it in, just like we did before. As this is a less complicated shape. It's just basically a cylinder. So adding highlights and shadow to this shouldn't be too difficult. Just gonna block that in. And again, this is probably gonna be the only day that I work on this particular page. There are. I will say, yeah, so we get the magical cooking implements. We get the wind vane of fresh air, which is an apparatus that's 10 feet tall, appearing as a vertical shaft of metal with broad fan blades 5 feet across. A foot pedal rotates the fan, creating an outward wind that duplicates the effects of a wind wall spell emanating 20 feet from the center of the device while active, and the cleaning effects of a prestidigitation cantrip within the same area. So while this thing is spinning, a foot pedal rotates the fan, creating an outward wind. So it's not technically a magic item; it's an apparatus. But having these things set up allows us to create zones of air, like to push air away. So the fog that comes in and rots everything, you can create like little Liam and tiny huts of clean air for you to operate inside of it. And then, of course, everything inside of it automatically gets clean. So they have these set up at all the base camps in the manifest zone for the patrols, and they have them zoned in the dungeon down in where the nexus is at, so that they can have like the barracks and the pantry and the storehouse and the laboratory blocked from this necrotic effect coming in and rotting everything around them, like breathing in while they sleep and killing you and stuff like that. They create these safety zones by siloing the areas between these different wind vanes. They're unwieldy. They're unwieldy enough that it's difficult for the team to kick around with them, and they require action economy. I should probably I need to add in as a object interaction. You can, as an action or object interaction, a foot pedal rotates. A foot pedal can be operated to rotate the fan, creating that work. And I've got the space here, so I can add that in. That is something that I do need to add in. So let's go down here to the text. I'm going to just put a circle here. I need to make mention of the action economy to spin this, but it's large enough. It's really useful as a stable object, but it's inconvenient to carry around with you and eat up your action economy. In the adventure, they just have an unseen servant that they periodically go around and recast for each of these as rituals. Like for the next hour, pedal this pump. And then so you've got an adept that's basically just doing a rotation around the facilities, just turning this thing back on. Top side, where the where the patrols are at in their base camps, whoever's fucked up the most is the one that's physically peddling it and doesn't get the benefit of an unseen servant to do the work for you. They're actually making soldiers actually do this as like a penalty. So fun little piece of narrative there for you guys. Grappling glaive. That's text, right? Okay, cool. So we're back on task. I like this. This is the image crystal, which is this small dragon shard can capture the image of whatever is seen through it as an action. The crystal can hold up to 20 images this way, and once full, any new images replace others of your choice. As a bonus action, you can see the image collected. You can see the images collected and dismiss any number of them. Alternatively, you can transfer or copy images from one crystal to another similar magic item. So, yeah, that's part of the Aether Academy adventure for you to gather evidence of the theft of the artifact and who might be involved with it. I'm really happy about this one. The grappling glaive, martial melee weapon, heavy reach, two-handed, graze property. This weapon is a glaive with a lariat threaded through along the haft. As an action, you can use the lariat to grapple a creature of medium or small size, and while a creature is grappled this way, you can use a bonus action to automatically hit the creature grappled with the glaive. You can't use this weapon to make attacks. That language isn't very good. I need to change that. Let's add that there. But yeah, this is what all the guards are equipped with. This is a short sword, and it's basically undead wrangling. You lariat an undead, and then you can just slowly saw his head off. There you go. I forgot what the term for stuff like the air cleaner. It's on the tip of my tongue. Unwieldy works that mage rights make as a part of industry. Right. It's I don't know if it has a fancy name or not. I just know they're implements. I don't know if they have a fancier name than that. The rest of the magic items. Gate Seal Runestone, consumable item, very rare. This small stone has been carved into a square tile. Carved into a square tile with druidic runes on each side. As an attack, you can throw the runestone at a space you can see up to 30 feet away. If the location is within the nexus of a manifest zone, it expands into a gate seal occupying a 10-foot space, destroying the manifest zone while the gate seal remains. The gate seal requires a wish spell to dispel. That's out of the old 3rd edition Eberron books. That's what the gatekeepers use to shut down rogue manifest zones that this adventure is built around. And then bonfire log, wanderer's item, common. This enchanted wooden log is typo. I don't think this is the final version of the text, but I'm going to call it out when I see it. This enchanted wooden log is enchanted with elemental runes. As a magic action, you can light the log to create a magical bonfire that fills 5-foot cube and burns for 8 hours. The log is not damaged by the bonfire it creates. Once this property is used, it can't be used again until the next dawn. So basically, for 8 hours, you got a magical log that'll just burn. Super easy. Keeps you warm in the cold. It was in the book. I forgot what the term for stuff like that. Yeah. It was in the book. Yeah, the gate seal. Yeah, super fun stuff. Okay, let's get back to our cooking implements. Yeah, those are not a lot of magic items, but those are the 6 unique magic or like equipment and magic item stuff that we're including in the adventure. Like the grappling glaive is a really useful item. It's like a non-magic item, but it makes life easier for characters to have something like that. You know, once they gank it off of a guard. I don't necessarily condone people killing the guards in this adventure, but I recognize it's a reality, and we have text discussing that at various points in the adventure. You know, if you decide to throw down with these guys, here's what happens. But again, the default plot hook is that you're deputized by Fort Bastion, a military facility, to investigate missing people. And the Red Wolf mercenaries that are the guards that you're going to run across inside the Manifest Zone here They have a contract with these with what turned out to be Emerald Claw necromancers, and they're concerned about backing out of their contract because getting targeted by the Emerald Claw cult is a horrible idea. Plus, they don't want to have any kind of reputation going around that they bail on clients. And it was their fault for taking this gig and not doing proper homework to realize the implications of working with these people. It was a big mistake for them to do that, and they can argue that they got that they didn't know what was going to happen, but they're still here, and they're still questioning their motives without making a decision to exit. So once your characters arrive with the ability, as deputies, to question missing people and what's going on here, the mercenaries are actually super freaking happy that like some sort of law enforcement has shown up to take responsibility of the decision from them. They can just hand over they can just decide to just get out of your way and let you do what you want to do. And there's still plenty of monsters and undead and stuff to fight throughout the adventure. If you take away the Red Wolves as a combatant, but that's the choice that the team gets to make. If you're spies, you absolutely need to avoid these Red Wolf mercenaries. Are not going to play nicely with you unless you have a badge. So the default plot hook makes it really easy for your characters to march in and start asking questions and get people to get out of your way and deal with the actual villains and monsters of the adventure. But if you're using an alternate plot hook where you don't have permission to be here and you don't have any authority, the mercenaries are going to look at you as a potential threat unless you can convince them that you're not. So it ratchets up the likelihood that these guys are going to be hostile to you when you're engaging with them. Just doing some gentle gradient. Curve that down. Smooth that out. Let's grab the... Just going to do it like this. Nothing too complicated. This is basic. It's like I said, it's a cylinder, so it's really basic form. But not all illustrations have to, take 2 weeks. They don't have to murder you. You put in the time that you need to get the effect that you want, and then you move on to the next piece without really belaboring it if you don't need to. Yeah, that feels pretty good. And then we're going to here, paint over. Grab this dark here. Just run that down along the bottom here. These highlights here. Grab that and just drag that across the top here. There we go. That feels pretty good. Maybe grab a little bit of a highlight through here. Like that. Just put a little bit of, just a little bit of luster. Just a little bit of luster. There we go. There, that feels better. All right, let's blend. Let's merge these together. Let's see about. Dropping that down a smidge. Let's go with group, duplicate, merge, conceal. What's up? Do the items use dragon shards as fuel? No, they do not. All people may know cantrips and magic items are more common is usually cause dragon shards fuel. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Dragon shards are incredibly expensive and difficult to get. I know that like significant like eldritch machines may consume dragon shards, and if I recall correctly, dragon shards can hold spells that can become consumable. But yeah, nothing here requires dragon shards as a battery. I could see if you wanted to implement infernal war machines like the Mad Max trucks from Descent into Avernus. If you wanted to up your Eberron to have vehicles like that, I could see instead of using soul coins, I could see using dragon shards to fuel them, making them like really freaking expensive to own and operate. I remember in second edition Gamma World back in 1992, we were using the base. There was this verdant valley that your characters started in as just there was the Gamma World box set was built as an intro region that was basically a hex crawl, and there was really good hex crawl random tables. And the further you got from home, the more likely you were to find just stray abandoned tech from past ages. And we found at one point we rolled into a Sherman tank that had laid fallow, and there was this highly complicated flow chart of how to figure out how to use technology. It was like a hyper extended skill challenge using 5e game terms to figure out how any random piece of technology that you found. And the more technically complicated it was, the higher the difficulty would be. And you would have all these progress checks of like all the different, like for this tank, we had to learn how to fire it, and we had to learn how to make it drive. So we figured, we also had to figure out how to fuel it. So we figured out that it needed diesel, and we ironically had found a source of diesel in another hex previously, an old oil refinery that had diesel canisters. So we actually had fuel to make the Sherman tank go. But unfortunately, the complications that arose with us trying to figure out how to make the tank work ended up having us drive it off a fucking cliff. So we were thrilled that we had a tank to drive around in. We weren't really concerned that we were going to run out of diesel eventually. It was going to become worthless anyway. But in the process of trying to figure out how to make it work, we drove it off a cliff. And so like we spent an hour of game time going through this flow chart of figuring out how to make this fucking tank work. And we ended up losing it. So we had to bail from it. It fell off a 500-foot cliff into a ravine. It disturbed a bunch of mutants that were colonizing down there. So they were working their way up the ravine to attack us, and I'm like, ah, shit. So we had to bail. It was great. We ended up finding a radioactive poppy field, and in Gamma World, if you're a mutant, if you go into radiation zones, everyone takes damage going into a radiation zone. But if you're a mutant, there's a chance that you would mutate, have a spontaneous mutation. It was highly likely that you would end up getting just a deformity or a drawback of some sort. But you could also end up getting really cool shit. So we had a bunch of med packs that we had taken off of some mercenaries, and we basically just blistered ourselves trying to get new mutations. And one of us ended up with an extra arm, which gave us extra attacks. Another person got fur all over their bodies, so they were resistant to cold damage. Old school Gamma World was a lot of silly fun. It was very gonzo. You weren't really supposed to take it seriously, I think. But man, it was a fun setting. I loved Gamma World. 4th edition Gamma World was really, really good too. Highly recommend. Good set of mechanics. This was back in 4th edition when they were playing around with like trading like collectible cards for equipment and spells and stuff. Gamma World had these like equipment and mutation decks. And as long as you had the card, you could mutate into that thing. It had like a base 20 cards in the box set of different mutations you could get, but they had mutation expansion packs. I don't remember a lot of the specifics, but I remember them being more powerful than the ones that were in the base set, of course. And they sold them at the game store where we played, unironically. So we'd buy packs of Gamma cards because in the 4th edition, every time you rolled a natural 1, you'd have a spontaneous mutation. So like whatever you had, basically each mutation that you have, you could use once per day. And if you roll a natural 1, you'd get a new mutation. You get rid of your old mutation, you replace it with a new mutation. So none of your mutations were permanent on your character. It was just constantly cycling, like you were constantly changing into something different. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Let's go down here and fix this base, and then I don't think I need to worry about this pot anymore. Hey, what's up? 3 kinds of dragon shards. One is relatively common, fueling magic economy. Section of the common mage rights. Powered shards in general to do pretty much any spell pass cantrip. Oh, I did not know that. There's so much about Eberron. You can miss stuff. I'll use canon if it makes sense. I just hadn't read that. Yeah, I know there's Kyber crystals. There's Sybaris, and then I think what just the basic Eberron crystals. So I could see the basic Eberron crystals being more of a mundane fuel source, while the Sybaris and the Kyber crystals being more powerful magic. I could see that being a thing. There, a pot. Let's straighten out this edge. There, pot, skillet. Let's go to the pitcher. Ladle, pitcher. Let's do the ladle first. Reference. We use the same lighting that we used for the spatula. There. What time is it? 7:41? Okay. So we got... Put another 13 minutes on the clock, and then we're going to have to kick out of here for today. There, do that. What's up? Common Mage Rite is described as needs 10-minute rituals to cast cantrips, and anything past 4th level is reserved for truly special gifts. Ah, right on. Nice. That was that 3rd edition Exploring Eberron, or was that actually 5th edition? Exploring Eberron. You're probably referring to 5th edition, right? It's weird that they'd have a limit of 4th level. Burf. Dark, light. Here we go. Yeah, thank you. I'll have to give that a look. In my campaigns, I generally use dragon shards as mana batteries, like mana stones, like mox crystals and stuff like that. Since I use spell points in all of my campaigns, it's easy to like this crystal holds 3 points of mana and refreshes. You know, I had in one of what am I trying to say? Converting mana crystals, or rather dragon shards into mana crystals, holding a points of mana to fuel things. I also have warlocks and monks. There's a lot of monk temples because the I don't know why I'm acting like I don't know this, because in one of the previous adventures that I had ran, it was because of the last war, most of the mana batteries had been collected by the military to fuel machines. So most communities, like especially small communities, didn't have the resources to have any kind of mana batteries to operate stuff. So the monk class started gaining a lot of influence, like started taking over civic duties during the last war. And because monks can regain their key points on a short rest, and key is mana, which is the same as in the mana batteries. You could basically use yourself by expending spell points or mana as a fuel source to be able to fuel things. In this adventure, there was like this small little fishing community had heaters, like space heaters for people to walk along outside, and like floodlights to help keep the light away. But they were mana fueled. So monks that were in that community would basically act as both night watch and guards to patrol the community. But their route was to go from heater and light source to light them by expending their key points to power these things. And then over the course of an hour, they would be able to go back around and relight these things again. So it was the idea of monks becoming a civil servant because of the mana battery they could provide and the martial trainings that they got made them really good community stewards. So there's, in my Eberron, there's lots and lots of monk temples that just make access using your own body as a mana battery just made practical sense because resources were low. And then warlocks, also spell point warlocks. A warlock could easily fuel any devices as well. So in my Eberron, the Seer camp, the nation of Seer, they were extensive warlocks using their mana resources to fuel their objects. I guess I just didn't know it was canon that that's what mage rights used them for. I just make everything mana based. Sorry, I have to stand up and move for a second. Gotta adjust my seat. There we go. Back in the saddle. Whereas for like royalty, not a hard limit, but it's for the common mage right can push it plus the continent is wide magic. Yeah. Common items are wide magic, meaning low power but common, versus high magic, meaning rare but incredibly powerful. Yeah, Eberron's very low, is very wide magic. Very rare and legendary. Is mostly largest scale work of industry. Yeah, right on. Yeah, like Eldritch Machines, like the forge that creates Warforged is a good example of that. That's there. That feels pretty good. One last bit. Maybe across here like that. There's a lot to Eberron. I never feel bad about not knowing something. It's always just, oh, that's an extra piece of information I did not know that I can add to my palette, you know? That's a good thing. That's what's really great about Eberron. Absolutely love that. This line art, I think we can drop its opacity to there. That feels pretty good. Let's grab all of this and duplicate it. We are almost out of time this morning. Merge this down. So now it's just one object. We can clean it up. We're gonna start in on the Gatekeeper plot hook illustrations tomorrow. Again, I just wanted to play with this today just to show you guys where I'm at and some stuff that I'm working on. So I'm gonna finish all of these offline in the evenings, and then we'll focus on more like illustration, like more significant like character art and stuff like that. It's kind of where I want to focus on. But the Spelljammer book has been updated for 2024 rules, and it's live on the DMsGuild again. There's a link to it down below. We spent the last 3 weeks on Mondays and Thursday nights basically going through the rules in the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration supplement, and then comparing them to the 2025 rules. And so it's updated now and available for folks to use. And that means we get to switch gears tonight during our long stream, our design stream. I'm not 100% sure on what I want to work on tonight. I could either work on the bashing campaigns, Spelljammer subclasses, or start tackling the 2025 conversion for the color mana system. And I haven't decided what I want to really work on yet. I figure by the time we get there, we'll know what we want to do. Let's thin that out a little bit like that. What's up, text? The funny thing is, human home continent is high psionic setting. Psionic artifacts are rare, but by gods they are CR 20 plus fighting Shadow Wars. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Sarlona? Yeah. Sarlona is super cool. I think Sarlona would make a really neat, like Dark Sun style Templar. You know, having people that are enlightened, like the quote unquote enlightened, that are possessed by quarry spirits. Like that would be like a really high level Templar Warlock sort of character bound to this. And then you can have different psychic entities that have their own agendas and different ways that they think that they're supposed to win the world, that could be in conflict with each other. That I know there's a whole book on Sarlona. I haven't read it because there's just too much. There's too much Eberron. If it's not something I'm immediately using, it's something I generally don't research. I don't spend a lot of time reading lore for the fun of reading lore. That's just never been my highest priority. I don't know. Maybe I can get like maybe I can get like a text reader program to audio book some of those rule books to me. But there's a ton of really cool lore in there. I'm sure that the Sarlona book talks about like contrasting agendas amongst the Kiori spirits that are running the place. That could potentially be exploited by freedom fighters. I love that. At the opposite of me, I have like 3 lore books. There is no wrong way to enjoy D&D. As long as you're not hurting anybody, no one can really yuck your yum. There's so many different yums to D&D. Just cleaning this up a little bit here. It's just a ladle. I don't have to murder myself over it, but I do want it to look clean. That'll do. I think I need to darken it up a smidge. Grab the shadow here, and let's add another layer, and then drop that in here like that. Just like that. Go. There. I think that'll do. Not amazing. Let's do that. Like that. There we go. All right, that's my timer. I got to bounce. Just going to go ahead and leave it at that. I'm not 100% happy with that, but this is the kind of... I'm going to be fiddling around with this in the evenings for the rest of this week. I expect these things to be done by this time next week. This page will be finished, and then we'll I'm going to go ahead and hit save for now, and let me pop open the next set that we're working on. Nope, that's not right. This is the we finished the cemetery picture. I'm pretty happy with how these the soldiers turned out. The gait, the walk on them, their posture is appropriate. I love the posture of her peeking around. Not a very exciting piece, but it's environmental. It's mostly showing off the terrain. But that's not the piece that I wanted to share. Let's go back to open. Let's go to page. Here we go. Here's the. This is what we'll be working on tomorrow. So this is a gate seal. It should be square, not circular. I need to fix that. But this is a gate seal shattering the chrysalis, where Solzu is performing the ritual with the eye, basically throwing a gate seal at the nexus, as we looked at earlier, destroys it. So that's one of the illustrations there. And the other illustration here is the actual gatekeepers. What's his name? Saidu Sulga is the druidic circle, part of the druidic order of the gatekeepers. Is the one that's going to send you through the gate, through the tree walk, the tree stride ritual, sending you into the manifest zone. And here's his divination stump. Maybe I'll put like a little fey here or something. I don't know, but this is what we're working on. So we're going to be working on this tomorrow, And then we'll also be working on this. So I suspect for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be working on this section. But these are the only 2 pages, and we'll go into more detail about this tomorrow. If anyone wants to come back through and stick around, if you're new, like and subscribe. Love to have you. And then tonight we'll be back on in about 10 hours. We'll be back to work on, I don't know, whatever the next game design book is. I'm not sure exactly what it is that we're going to work on. It could be Spelljammer subclasses. It could be the Mecha Kaiju book. It could be prepping updates for the 2024 version of the Color Mana system. Or we could be revisiting the Bastion campaign just to do another sweep through it. I honestly don't know exactly what it is that we're going to do. But we'll do something. So stick around, catch up. I'm here Monday through Friday in the morning doing artwork. I do game design on Mondays and Thursday nights, including tonight. Discord community down below, a bunch of books with free previews down below. You can check out my artwork and my game design ideas if you're a 5e enthusiast. Thanks to everyone that's been sticking around and talking chat with me, swinging by, looking at the channel. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side tomorrow, or later on tonight and tomorrow. Cheers.